Despite what their moms told them, they just aren't talented enough for radio. Unfortunately, anyone can have a show these days. Sean.
Well, I'm pretty hard to figure out sometimes. In fact, I can't even figure myself out sometimes, so don't you try to.
Joe.
You're an idiot and really a disloyal person.
This is the Cuse Militia. Now, those two unapologetically biased, orange-blooded homers, Sean and Joe.
It's the most bullshit thing I've seen in 30 years.
Welcome, orange men and ladies. Happy Sunday. This is the Cuse Militia with Sean and Joe at Cuse Militia on the socials. Go there, join the militia. Thanks for tuning in, hanging out with us. We appreciate all of you. Well, Joe and I sit here with a little bit of egg on our face as we did not give SU a snowball's chance in hell of pulling this game off, but the Orange would light it up. Wake Forest defense only allowing 68 points a game. Syracuse puts up 94-72 win for the Orange. You'll hear from us, and we'll hear from you in fan feedback. And a little programming note, Joe has a family matter to attend to this week, and we are going to try our best to get here Thursday after the Syracuse road trip to NC State after this Wednesday at the dreaded 9 o'clock tip time. But regardless, we'll let you know what we think about the Wolfpack today in the preview, and we'll do our best to get here. So, with that said, let's take a listen to what Coach had to say after the win at home.
They've added two really good players since we lost to them down there. I think Williamson had 20-something easy. The other guy had 3 for 3 in the first half. But the difference is we guarded better, we played better defense, we got out to the shooters better, and we rebounded better. And offensively, Joe did a tremendous job of getting us into the right situations, making the right pass, the right play. You know, Buddy hit a hot streak there, and they just kept getting him the ball. And, you know, Cole was his best he's played, I think. Jimmy was good. We got on the boards. I thought the unit in the second half, I didn't plan on just playing the 5, but the unit was so cohesive and played together so well that it was no way we were going to break that up. It was fun having the students back. You know, fans were good. Fans got into the game. Hopefully, we can get past this stuff and get where we're healthier, where people can come in more easily. And I even missed the press conferences. I think we're the only school in the country that's not doing them right now. Probably. It's kind of time to move on, I think, for that. I just thought we made some plays that we haven't been making. Jimmy got back and got 2 steals. We got a couple deflections. Buddy got back in. Joe got 1. I just thought we were a little bit more active and, you know, just a little bit quicker to the ball. Again, you know, we just haven't played that kind of defense, and that's why we're in the predicament we're in. It's, you know, we'll just try to keep improving as we move forward here. You know, we're a good offensive team in that situation. I thought tonight we had the best balance. Joe was able to get some things. Jesse got to some things. Frank got some dish. In the first half, we could have been down a lot. Buddy got in and Jimmy got in and made a couple really good passes to Frank. He got a couple dunks in there. I thought our offense, even the first half, was really good. We looked for each other, hit each other. In the second half, you know, Buddy really got going, so that was a big part of that. But I thought Cole got into his spot better than he has all year.
The energy that the crowd brought tonight, how much do you think that sort of energized your team?
I think it's all good. The better we play, the more they cheer. But yeah, I mean, it was good. It was good to have the students back. And you know, at the end of the day, you got to play. You got to play basketball, and today we did. Getting turnovers is how you get into transition. And you know, they had 17 turnovers to our 5. So that's 12 extra possessions, and some of them did turn into fast breaks. But again, defense is key. You know, we were better. We were just better on defense. We've said all year, I mean, it's pretty common knowledge. We just haven't been as good defensively as we need to be. And this was a really good outing, and hopefully we can carry this forward to NC State.
Yeah, Jim, just more on Cole. Is this the kind of player that you guys expected him to be? And is he rounding a corner right now, or is that just a one-off?
He played great tonight, absolutely great. And, I expect him to continue this and to play even better as we move down the stretch here. Thank you.
All right, the Coach Montage is brought to us by Sports Drink, your digital water cooler. Sports Drink is a newly created internet community that tries to find the intersection between sports and not sports. They're here to help us grow and hate your favorite team. A rising tide lifts all boats, so go check them out online or on social. Go to sportsdrink.org or open Instagram. Type in Sports Drink, spelled like sports drink, but without the vowels. They do some written stuff on their website, and also they have podcasts for the NFL and the NBA and the MLB and other college ones too. But you don't need it. You need one college podcast, let's be honest, and that's this one, okay? Supplying you with mediocre content time and time again, bi-weekly, as of right now. So, all right, Joe, let's start at the top of this thing. First, neither one of us saw this coming. I don't know if anyone saw it coming. There was very few optimistic fans left after the beatdown by Duke, and just the morale of everything just seemed to be fizzling away. Heard rumors of some really stupid things being said, and I think there's a fan feedback comment, so I'll shelf that for that. But obviously, the rotations looked really good last night, and we got burned a couple times, but I thought the defense moved great. I thought the ball movement on offense was great. Extra passes kept guys open, and the starting five, they played lights out in the second half. I really was hoping to see Frank and Benny and Samir back in there. By the way, awesome to see Cy on the floor. I did not know. I was shocked when he got out there. It gave me chills. I was like, hell yes. That is a huge hurdle to jump. I think that's excellent. So that wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. But, Coach mentions the getting past the COVID rules to get more fans in the stands. We saw the reaction with the fans in the stands. I thought it was probably the best crowd all year. And the students did a great job. They're back. They did a great job orchestrating the whiteout, the blizzard. And you could see it. It was predominant in the stands, and hats off to them, Otto's Army, for pulling it off and doing a great job. But,
Plus Giannis.
Look, I wasn't going to bring it up. Like, I know who the guy is. I know he's great. I really like him. I actually watched, I don't know if I'd call it a documentary, but I watched something on him probably about a year and a half, 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And, it's amazing. It's a great story. Just totally. It's great, but I don't care. I don't care who goes to this. I don't care who shows up at the games. I want fans to show up at the games. I don't care if Giannis is there. Who cares?
Well, maybe that's why fans showed up.
I am more happy with the. I doubt it. I'm more happy with the outcome of the student section and just with it being a late game with weather pending on a Saturday night. I'm more happy about that than Giannis.
I saw a lot of fans with the Milwaukee Buck jerseys on. I'm just saying.
Okay, whatever. They're probably hoping to get it autographed or something. But look, SU still in quarantine during the post-game pressers, okay? I'm still hearing people wearing masks on Zoom. Dude, like Coach said, man, I've been waiting for this to come up. Joe and I have talked about this privately. Who else is doing this?
Look, I don't care one way or another. They just got to get the audio right. And
the audio wasn't terrible. It was actually really good this time. For a communication school, it should always be good. But
you'd think.
But it was good this week. I thought it was good. The audio was good. I think, by the way, our boy James got in there. The last question of the day.
But Coach.
But The Zoom stuff is silly. Let's get back to handing the mic off and getting back to normal stuff. I think we're on the tail end of most of what's happening, and the same thing should apply shortly, in my opinion, for the rules to get into the dome. They need to lax it up a little bit, okay, and stop being so tight and ridiculous about it. Because at the end of the day, you saw the people packed in there. You can't police the mask use. Okay, people who don't want to wear a mask are going to wear one to get in that building and they're going to take it off. There's no way you can stop that because it would be a full-time job for a brigade of people. So hopefully we see some of this stuff disbanded a little bit. But Joe,
Yeah.
Syracuse making the plays that they haven't made all year. The energy level was way up. After getting killed by Duke.
Yeah.
Sometimes that's a good thing. You have a kumbaya moment or whatever the case was. I can't imagine, that they didn't have something between
losing to Pittsburgh.
Or losing to Pitt. Yeah, I'm sorry. The Duke game and then the Pitt game. So something in between Pitt and Wake Forest. A kumbaya moment, but the energy was awesome, Joe. They did everything that they needed to do that they haven't done. And the first full game, the best game Syracuse has played all year, and here we are approaching the 3-quarter mark of the season.
Yeah, I don't know how to explain it. I don't know what was different.
Everybody's so confused.
I don't know because I don't know if it was like the Duke blowout just lingered to the Pittsburgh. I don't know, but again, you just saw things that were different. I mean, we only shot 19 threes in 10 of 19, so we weren't just hucking up threes. And you saw a team that wasn't just standing around and waiting for the jump shot, right? It looked what Coach said. They were active, they were moving,
and on defense too, not just standing around, not chasing. Yeah. They chased balls down.
We had 18 assists. We won the rebounds. I mean, we only had 5 turnovers?
5 turnovers to 17
to 5. Yeah. So I mean, you just saw a way active defense. And again, maybe it's the fans, maybe it was the fact that they know that the MVP of the NBA is sitting in. I mean, who knows? At the end of the day, they were feeding off of whatever was going on in there. It was nice to see Joe missed a couple shots early, and it looked like, okay, he's headed toward that. He was messing up, and he's not going to – but he looked like, he righted the ship a little bit, he took some okay questionable shots, but at the end of the day, he went 4 of 11. He didn't do nothing crazy. He only had two turnovers, and he seemed to stay in the game. And really, Cole Swider definitely had his best game.
Best game in a win, too. That's the thing. Like, he's had some decent games, but we've lost those games.
Yeah.
So
and to have 18 points, and he went only 2 for 2. He was 100 from the 3-point line, but he only had 2 threes. So that told you that he was taking the ball inside the 3-point line and finishing around the basket and making little jumpers and stuff, like the stuff that he's got to do. And then obviously, what can you say about Buddy?
Buddy's Buddy.
When Buddy plays like that, we're going to at least be in the game anyway, right? No matter how bad anybody else is playing. But to go 6 of 11, and not only that, he took 21 shots, made 12. So he had 7 assists. He had 3 steals. Like, he still had 7 assists, led the team in assists.
Just balled out, man.
He
was just in the zone in the second half. How crazy was it? Let me see if it's on my list here. Best balance all year, held strong in the first half. And how crazy is it coming out in the second and just the turnover after turnover for Wake Forest, just getting in the passing lanes and being disruptive. And that's how we as Syracuse fans are used to seeing that zone work. Maybe not even that good, but on a consistent basis at least. But that's how it's supposed to be. That's how active you need to be for that to work. And the rotations weren't perfect, but they were better than they've been, I think, all year. But, Benny and especially Frank played, Frank, he had his best game too for his 17 minutes, 7 points, 6 rebounds, and a couple dunks in there down low. And we need that guy to be doing that. Just really proud of him for what he did. Benny, he was decent. I know it doesn't show up real heavy on the stat sheet, but 10 minutes, 1 point, 3 rebounds. But I was, it looked good with them in there. They played quite a bit, right, in the first half. So you come out to the second half and you put the starting five back in, and it just works so good that, I mean, coach didn't want to touch it. I mean, you don't touch it until you have to, which I totally understand.
I completely agree with.
Yeah.
They broke, don't fix it.
Yeah, exactly. So just all in all, just a really good, well team played game.
I'm not falling into this trap,
though. No.
I'm just letting you know.
Yeah. I know.
And even on top of that too, I mean, I kind of questioned this Wake Forest team, and I mean, I don't want to question coaches or, but last time we played them, they only went 7 deep. Davey Williamson, who played an outstanding game, had 27 points, and he shot very, very well. He didn't play the first game, and really Monsanto, who came in and went 4-6 from the 3-point line, he had 12 points. He didn't play either. In that Kadeem Sy, he had 31 minutes the first time that we played, and he's a 6'11" guy that can shoot threes, so he can spread the floor, and they makes him a bigger team. And
Alondas was the star last game.
Alondas was the star last game. He had 25 points, but also, like I said, the LaRavia is about 6'7", 6'8". He plays the middle, but having Walton and Cyan, a 7-footer and a 6'11" guy with a LaRavia and even Musius, I mean, that's a big lineup. And really, I mean, maybe it was just because we played so good, or maybe they had an off game, but it seemed to me like, I mean, and I'm not saying they're better without him, but maybe they're better against us without him. Like, I just saw a different way that they played. I mean, they beat us down low, and maybe we made all the defensive adjustments from the last time too. I don't know, but to me, it seemed like they were a different type of team. And I mean, Kadeem Sy, he went from having 31 minutes last game to 14, and he had 0 points versus the 13 he had last game. So it just seemed to me like Wake Forest had a completely different type of rotation and team this time around. And although David Williamson played well, it didn't seem to really mesh well with playing against us this time around.
I think they held him to like 8 points in the second half or something like that. I think he had I can't remember.
Yeah, but playing 30 minutes, I mean, that makes them substantially smaller.
Yeah. Yeah. And I was wondering,
we won the rebounds.
Wasn't he playing with 4 fouls for a while? I mean,
who's that?
No, he had 3 fouls. I'm sorry.
He had 3. Nobody on their team had 4.
Yeah, Williamson. I just wanted Joe to just take it to him. I was just waiting for him. He was in foul trouble kind of early. He had the 3 for a long time.
Right.
And I was waiting for someone to just drive on him to just because he was killing us.
I'm kind of glad they didn't, though, because obviously, I mean, like I said last time, I just thought that they had a better lineup matched up. It was a better matchup against us. It's just like, again, with him in the lineup, that makes them smaller. With Kadeem Sy in there, I just thought that they played a lot better last time we played. But again, maybe it's because of our adjustments, and maybe they just didn't play that great of a game.
The defense just stepped up. I mean, it was what?
Well, they didn't get the easy shots
42. They scored 30 points after the half. They had 42 at the half. So they held them to 30. The defense was balling out. Syracuse scored 42 points in the paint, I think I saw. And that's huge. I mean, and then, when you talk about the 17 turnovers, and turned into 19 points, and like you heard Coach mention, that's 12 extra possessions, and defense turns into offense, and this was been the piece that's been missing. Syracuse could be scoring in the 90s for how many games if their defense plays the way they played last night. The problem is, like Joe said, I'm not falling in that trap. I'm not falling. I want to see more. I want to see more of this before I even get super excited.
It's like a tease, right? And we're this far into the season now where we talked about it. Like,
it's so confusing.
Last night, yeah, it's super confusing. And last night, I didn't know to be super excited or pissed off. And it was because,
yeah.
You know what I mean? Because, I mean, during the game, I'm watching it, and I'm hyped. Then I get to the end, and I'm like, what was that? Like, where has this team been?
What just happened?
Dr. Jekyll and Hyde over here. Like, I don't.
It's the WTF gif I sent you.
Yes.
With the dude with the handlebar mustache going, what the F? Totally confused. Like, what's going on?
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
absolutely.
It's like, have they been, are we being punked? Were we being punked all season? Of course not. But, look, build on this. NC State is a great place if you're going to be on the road, I feel like, for Syracuse to be going after a win like that. Because Wake Forest, dude, they're on a 4-game win streak. That's a really good team.
Yeah.
You talk about the different lineup and everything, but all in all, this is a really good team. And they're dangerous. And we played them tight in the first game, taking them to overtime and losing by, I think, 3. And then
should have won that game.
Right. And then beating them by 22 this time around. They were just demolished in the second half. And all of their momentum was taken away from them. Their coach was pissed. You could see, like, he did not keep his cool, and it just leaked into the players. So
yeah, I mean, I truly believe that we should have won the first game too. And obviously Steve Forbes, second-year coach, I think he's still trying to figure out. I think it takes, again, that's why Syracuse, when we get in the tournament, sometimes we're dangerous because we play against a lot of teams that, don't really prep too much or see that 2-3 zone. But when you play Syracuse every year, the longer you're in the league as a coach, then the more, obviously familiar you are with it. And, it's his second year. So I think he's having a tough time with, the adjustments or whatever we did yesterday. And then with I
don't know what their recruiting looks like and what they got left up, but they got a lot of transfers. So
they got a lot of transfers. So they kind of went in all kind of like
trying to put all the chips on the table. Right. Yeah.
Right. Because if he has a good season, then hopefully that translates in maybe more transfers coming or recruiting as well. Right. So the guy's a good coach, and there's no doubt I think that he's going to at least make Wake Forest be a legitimate, team. I don't want to say they're going to go like top 4 ACC, but even right now they're 5-6 or 7-4 in the conference, 17-5 overall. So they're a decent squad, and we came out and did this, and like I said, I mean, when it comes to bubble teams and when it comes to things like that, a lot of times, I mean, they look at the whole resume. They look at all year, but they look at the last 10 regular season games and what you've done in your conference tournament and stuff like that. And again, I think the bubble's going to be weak. So we talked about this little stretch they have going on. I'm not going to get overly excited, because I thought we were going to beat Pitt and then lose this game. So instead we lost to Pitt and won this game. So I don't know what's better, but if we can go off this momentum and keep it going and roll off another 4, 5, or 6 here, then you never know. But again, I'm not going to let them fool me. They're going to have to show me for sure. I'm not falling into this trap because I've seen it earlier in the year where I thought we turned the corner and we were going to start making that run to look toward a normal Syracuse tournament looking team, and it didn't happen. So long way to go.
Yeah.
Long way to go.
Long way to go. Last thing here, Cole Swider. We already kind of hit on Cole, but just consistently good all game. And, that's another thing. When you look at just the team as a whole, I mean, Jimmy, although him 4 rebounds and 6 points, it's not terrible, but everybody else was in double figures scoring, and Frank was close. He's, in his 17 minutes, but we've been waiting for Cole to step up and do good. 18 points in a win. That's the important part, because when Cole stepped up before, no one helped him. And that's when we talk about consistency as a team, you got to look at a couple of the players, right? So
right.
Cole's scoring, that opens up things for Buddy, and I mean, so on and so forth. You can't just have, this thing where we got one guy that's stepping up. Joe's had a couple of rough games, got called out. Everybody got called out after the Pitt game except for Buddy. Everybody. There was a big thing about Jesse getting called out, but I mean, like, he called out everybody pretty fairly, I thought. Even Jimmy. So Jimmy was not good.
Mm-hmm.
So, anyways, with that said, it is time to hear from you.
It's time to hear from you, the loudmouths from the Loud House.
You guys know what to do. At the end of every game, I will ask for your thoughts on said game. You leave them. We review them. And then we talk about them here. So, obviously, not terrible in the fan feedback this week.
Of course.
This game. There's a couple, but whatever. Robert, on Facebook, this team perplexes me. They go to a not great Pitt team and get wrecked, and then today blow out one of the hottest teams in the ACC. I mean, wow. Everything was better tonight. Shooting, defense, all of it. Bottle this up and do it again. So That's the thing, right? Can they do that? Can they take what they did against Wake Forest and use it for the rest of the season? Again, Joe started the phrase last year, effort is free. We were on that all year. There was so much more effort in this win against Wake Forest than probably any game the whole season. The way that Syracuse was flashing to the ball was not like we've seen this year. And so you have to have the effort. And sometimes it's been lazy or they've been way out of place, but they were chasing balls down, and that was a huge difference on the defensive end because they still left some guys open, but right?
Yeah, well, not only that, but it's effort, more of a sense of urgency.
Yeah, that too. Sure. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, obviously, it's go time. It's either
your chances are dwindling, right?
Yes. Top fan Joe P on Facebook. What the F? Where did this come from? Gotta impress Giannis, I guess. Yeah, I guess. But
told you,
dude, stop it. We're not. Stop it. Yeah, where did it come from? I mean, everybody was perplexed. No one knows what the hell is going on, and we will only know if we see it again. Right? Like Coach Baber says, it's better to be consistently good than occasionally great. They were great. Right. They were great last night. They have not been consistently good, but they were great last night. So we will see if they can turn this next game into the same type of situation. Joseph on Facebook finally played a complete game. Absolutely. That's key. Hustled on defense and made shots. Got into the paint quite a bit, which led to open threes. Also, Buddy finally found Edwards rolling to the basket after setting the screen. And well, that's kind of new too, a little bit. And I'm not just this year, but just like since, like Christmas days. And it's been sparse. But like he says, I think the big thing is they made their shots. They missed like 5 bunnies like really early. Do you remember? Right to start the game, Joe?
Yeah.
They missed a lot of stuff really close to the rim. And I'm thinking, oh, great. Here we go, more of the same. But they settled in and started making shots. And when you're making shots on offense and you're getting stops, not only the turnovers, but just getting the stops on defense, fantastic. So, Brian on Facebook. Clearly, Boeheim plays Buddy because he's his son. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
I like the
the sarcasm. Daryl, top fan. I'm going to give Daryl his props for being a top fan, even though I'm pretty sure he hates us, but that's fine. That's his business. Still a top fan because we see his badge. This team is still a joke. Okay. All right. Heading over to the Twitter at No Blanchard 44. I think the crowd boosted confidence of the players, which in turn boosted their performance on the court. If we had a crowd like this at every home game, I think we would be in much better shape. Joe, we've talked about this, not just recently here with the crowds that we've been getting in the Dome this year, but just in general, past couple of years. We always talk about, what comes, especially with football at one point, what comes first, wins or asses in the seats? Well, the answer is yes, right? It's always like a correlation. Like we don't know the answer because you got to have both, right? So with that said, hopefully this will be a boost. Like I said, a very inconvenient time with the weather conditions for everybody to show up the way they did Saturday night. And with the way they played, if they can go on the road to NC State and pull that off, then, hopefully we're looking up on, coming back and playing Louisville. And that's a 2:00 game on Saturday. And we'll see what kind of crowd they can show.
I mean, look, to me, and I'm not going to go in and talk about it at all, but I've already talked about it. But to me, the snow has never stopped fans to get into the games if they want to get to the games. Okay, right. We've always had that issue where the students leave and we have all those home games and the empty seats and everything like that, and it has looked even more, bare than normal. And last night, it was considerably good considering, but that's not just I think it was a combination of knowing that Giannis is going to be there. The students were back, and it was a night game. If people got to do what they wanted to do during the day on Saturday, and they had something to look forward to in the evening, I bet you that crowd doesn't look like that if it's somewhere in the middle of the day. So hopefully these wins help and everything like that. But at the end of the day, we're not going to have the same type of attendance. And it's because of the COVID restrictions and how the rules to get in and all that kind of stuff.
It's hard to get a whole family in there.
It's hard to get a whole family, and people want the experience. And again, like I said, it's always been a walk-up crowd. I've always walked up. Very rarely have I known I was going to a game 3 days before.
But when you live, like we grew up 15 minutes from the Dome, that's how you did it. Like, it's close enough to where you can.
Yeah, I used to live in Eastwood, and someone would be like, "Hey, let's go to the game. All right, come here. We'll jump onto Centro, drops us right off, right at the Dome, right? And we just show up. We buy tickets there. Boom, Or someone calls me, "Hey, want to go to the game tonight? This, and that." I mean, that's how it's naturally is, unless you have season tickets or you're students or you have stuff that you don't have to worry about. At the end of the day, some people don't want to have to deal with that, and some people want to be able to have beers or have food or not have certain restrictions inside the Dome, because again, it is supposed to be an experience, not just not everybody that goes there is a diehard fan. They go for other little things and little parts of it as well. So at the end of the day, that's why we're not going to have the attendance. And it would be nice to not have these type of rules so we could actually see if that was
it.
Winning and losing, right?
Right.
But that's not the case.
Well, to what you said, if it is winning and losing, and to see if that's it. Like, I'm sold that that's it. I'm totally sold that that's it, because
we could be undefeated and that would still look like that.
Right.
Well, maybe
with the exception of last night. Last night was pretty. I mean, look, it is not the normal crowd we're used to seeing, right? I mean, I would Duke. I think is going to be a big crowd. Okay.
Of course.
Okay, but that's an anomaly, so I'm not even counting that. Okay, but like last night's game.
Well, that's going to be the real one, right? That's going to be the real case of
the real.
What is it going to look like?
Yeah,
because Duke, we always get up over 30,000. This, just, and that.
Right.
So whether we win or lose or with this or that, we're going to get those. So really, I mean, we don't even need to speculate the whole COVID or the winning and losing. Let's see what happens when we play Duke.
Right. And like Coach said, look, the better you do, the more enthusiastic the crowd is. But it doesn't matter. I do think it affects some people, the crowd, the momentum of it, the
100%.
Everything of it, right? There's just the grit of having the crowd behind your back as you're making a run or pulling away or whatever, they're hitting a big shot.
Oh yeah.
That is huge to players. But at the end of the day, you got to play, like Coach said. You got to play basketball. That's what you're there to do. So, but it is, it's human nature. At Dave T 1209, you're witnessing the end of the Syracuse basketball program. I hope less than 1,000 fans show up for the next game. Fire Boeheim, free Benny. Oh wait, we're not doing that tonight. Sorry. Yeah, how quickly most everybody shuts up and it's crickets. And one weird thing that happens after the Pitt game was people wishing for Syracuse to lose and not show up to the Dome. Like, what kind of this, Joe? I don't know if you read anything about it, Joe.
No, not really.
Okay, I didn't see it as a big thing myself on Twitter, like for individuals saying anything, but there were articles written about it.
Well, that's what it is nowadays, right? You just rile up a protest and you get your way.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So, with that said, if you're a Syracuse fan, scare quotes there, and you're wishing for your team to lose, look, we don't get high draft picks when the team loses, and hoping for less people in the Dome. I mean, that's one thing I've just been waiting to see is crowds in the Dome. I mean, I just think it's just not the same without it.
That's coming from a fan who's upset because they're not winning. And obviously we don't really go through a lot of the, but I think that the older generations deal with losing a little bit better than the younger generations.
I would agree.
Instant gratification and everything. And at the end of the day, that is literally somebody saying, I want us to lose and no one to show up. and almost as a protest until they fire Boeheim and things change.
It's exactly
that's really what it is.
It's exactly what it is. And the
that's
free,
not going to happen.
The free Benny stuff, like, I mean, there's people like Etan Thomas that were on this. Like, free Benny, like, where is he? What do you mean free Benny? Why are we freeing anybody? You know, I mean,
I saw him on the bench. He looked pretty free to me.
I mean, free Jesse. I mean, dude, like,
hey,
just
look. This is the deal. He's a coach. He's gonna make his, you know, and all, you know, the armchair quarterbacks, and we have our own opinions too, right?
Absolutely.
The
That's why we do the show.
Everyone's got their own Brett and X. Everybody, they think they know better. That's the guy that's making millions of dollars coaching. So
right.
At the end of the day, it's not like we're not doing it because we got better things to do, right? It's because that's his job. So again, we can sit here and we can question everything. We think that we can know the answers and yes, and there are things that we would like to see, right? But at the end of the day, like, none of us are coaches.
No, and we've seen Benny on the floor, guys. I mean, he's getting better, seemingly getting better. But
yeah,
I mean, look, here's the thing about Benny. I was telling my wife this. High character guy, right? I want nothing more than for this guy to excel and find his spot and be an integral part of this team.
Yeah.
But if he's not there, he's not there. What are we supposed to do? We all want it. You don't think Coach wants it?
Yeah.
You know, it's like they think
5-star athleticism.
Yeah,
that 6'9" guy that's going to be able to just block shots and just. I mean, again, he made our defense instantly better yesterday.
Yes, absolutely.
Because he's learning the rotations. Now, some might say, "Oh, well, he was moving like that early." Look, you can run around and look like you're hustling and you could be doing absolutely nothing. Right?
Yeah,
so at the end of the day, just because
I could do that.
Around,
yeah,
he's running around fast. He's making the wrong rotations. He's putting himself in the wrong places on defense. And we all know that when it comes to Boeheim, if you can't make those defensive rotations, you're not going to play. On top of the fact that everyone can see his jump shot. It's flat.
Yeah.
It needs a little bit of work.
Yeah.
He needs to sharpen some tools on the offensive end before he can come and help us. So it's a situation where if he's going to play at this point, it's going to be on defense and helping us with athleticism and maybe going fast break points, getting some rebounds, put back, stuff like that. And you can see that he's starting to learn the rotations a little bit. But earlier in the season, he was just
lost.
He looked like like
deer in headlights.
Head cut off.
Yeah.
That's all you can say.
Cole was the same. I mean, dude, Cole still
is the same way.
is.
They were still trying to figure it out too.
Yeah.
Except for he's got a jumper.
Yeah, that's it. He can score. He's got a lot more experience.
Yeah.
And he can score. And that's why he had that spot over Benny. I mean, you can make the argument that he's not that great as well, but he's better than Benny, and has been better than Benny. Look, Benny is being he's being very patient. I think he knows his space, and I think he's being encouraged. And I think that next year is going to be quite possibly a big turnaround for Benny. You're going to have a whole year in, and you're going to have an off season. And that is going to be huge. Plus, we still got the rest of this year, and we'll see how it goes.
Definitely going to be. And I think that's one of the things that kills me more than anything is this crowd where it's like, well, you see what we are. We're 9-11. We suck. We're not going anywhere. So let's just start Benny. Benny should start. Play him 30 minutes. Play him this. That's what the lockdown guys were saying, right? And it's like I'm not down with giving up to. I mean, I'm sorry, but it might help for the next season. But I'm not. You're not out until you're out.
I didn't understand. I talked last show about the using John Bull over Benny, and I was confused by that. So I will, just to be fair.
I'm not saying that Benny shouldn't play, right? But there's some people that think that he should be getting 20 plus, 30 plus minutes and just start him because this season's a wash. Let's get him ready for next year.
Yeah, you don't just give up on the season to train somebody.
I don't agree with a situation where you stop trying to make a team better, especially when, again, you see a game like last night and you're like, oh man, they can play like that. Like maybe they just need to fix some things. Maybe it's taken them a little bit longer for the light bulb to come on.
And
and at the end of the day, maybe we don't make the NIT or the NCAA or the NIT. But you always try your best to make your team better. You don't just give up because you know what that does to the rest of the locker room. What does it do to the seniors?
Yeah, lose it. They want to win. They're not just going to want to use it as scrimmage. Practice. practice. So, one more here from Twitter, and it is our buddy at Cuse Waterboy. Otto's Army packed the dome with a blizzard warning. Buddy Buckets drops a 30-piece nugget. Swider and Edwards ball out. Hell, Patty Casey goes in a 1 mixtape, and Arthur Cords hits the buzzer beater 3 at the end, like to top it all off. Who's that? No idea.
It's a walk-on.
Right?
And that's the thing.
Like we miss a little bit of that, and that's where we were last night. We haven't gotten to see the walk-ons much at all this year.
And that's so weird.
Yeah.
Because, like, those are the games, like, that's supposed to happen against Colgate.
Right. Yeah, right. Where we get beat by 20. Yeah.
Back then, right? Not against the 17-4 Wake Forest team in the middle of the ACC season, right? So, again, nothing about last night made any sense. If anything, I think it just confused everybody else. Maybe even pissed them off, like I said, because you see them play like this and you're like, what's up? Like, you can't tell me that we couldn't have pulled off a couple more wins. You guys couldn't have came out and played like this.
Oh, there's a bunch of games you can look back at, and like you mentioned, just the Wake Forest game that we just played a couple weeks ago was one of them.
The 1 point loss, right, to Miami, or the 5 point loss to Florida State.
Yeah,
or the 5 point loss to Virginia.
I mean the Pittsburgh game we lost by 9 or 11 rather, but. You look at that game, and it's not a game we should have lost. I mean, just because it's 11 points, but we shouldn't have lost that game. And that game missed a lot of energy and effort. They had none compared to what they had last night against Pitt. So, anyways, with that said, let's move on here, Joe, to NC State, if you're ready. By the way, if you haven't gone to the Spotify Green Room is not sponsoring the show anymore, but I still use it, and this is an excellent app, and we would love for you guys to go there and download it. If you're a regular listener, you can go to your iOS or Android stores and download that thing and sign up. Follow us at Cuse Militia, and sign up for notifications, and when we go live during the show, you can get a notification. And Sundays are weird because we've been trying to go a little bit earlier because Joe and I are like super busy on Sundays, so... especially when my wife works every other weekend, and when she's off, we try to get these things done so we can all have family time. Joe does his family time too on Sunday nights. So sometimes it's in the middle of the day. I know it's not great, but download the app. You'll at least know if you sign up for notifications when we're going. So go there, download that. We appreciate you for that. The all-time series between Syracuse and NC State sits at 10-6 in favor of the Orange. The Syracuse Orange, as it is, in the North Carolina State Wolfpack, first met in 1990. The two teams played 5 times prior to the Orange joining the ACC, with Syracuse leading the series 5-1. We remember in 2017, Joe, I think you were at this game, John Gillen's 43-point effort. You remember? Weren't you there?
I was there.
Okay,
yep.
That's what I thought. He hit 10 of 13 field goals, including 9 of 10 3-point attempts in all 14 free throws in that game. Andrew White also had a big game with 28 points, scoring the majority of the Orange's overtime points. The Wolfpack's Dennis Smith Jr. had a triple-double with 11 rebounds, 15 assists, and 13 points. All of that brought to you by orangehoops.org. That is the one-stop shop for past stats for me. So check them out. Last time out, March of 2021. It's a win for Syracuse, 89-68. Gerard, Boeheim, Dolezaj, Guerrier, and Griffin, your starting 5. Buddy with 27 points in that game. So far, NC State has not fared well in the ACC, but they are 10-12, with the ACC record being 3-8. So they've struggled quite a bit. They're currently on a 2-game losing skid. They lost by 20 to UNC and an 8-point loss to Notre Dame. As a team, they're shooting about 34% from behind the arc, which is very close to what Syracuse averages, what they allow on an average from behind the arc as a team. Also putting up 75 points a game. The kicker is they also allow about 75 points a game. So Ken Pom has them ranked 108th. With an adjusted offense ranked 40th and an adjusted defense ranked 227th, okay? So some opportunity there for Syracuse on the offensive end. Ken Pom is predicting a 79-78 win for the Wolfpack. NC State is ranked 122nd in the net, making this a quad 2 road game for Syracuse. So another quad 2 game in the pocket if they can bring this win home. By the way, that game last night was a quad 2 game, but with the way Wake Forest has been playing, they were so close to being a quad 1 game that it would not surprise me if they do end up making that a quad 1 game. So these close quad 2 games are crucial for the end of the season to see how things shake out, Joe. So look, first time playing NC State, Joe, what do you have?
So this team basically is kind of just like us as far as they don't get a lot of bench points whatsoever. I'm kind of looking through their box scores of recent games and everything like that. Good offense, though. Good offense. They got some shooters on their team. And really, when you look at it, we have the height advantage. Their main rotation, they're starting center / forward or whatever with Ebenezer Douna. I'm not going to try to say that again.
Good one.
But he's 6'11", 225. And then you get to Jericho Helms, who's a 6'7" guy who scores a bunch. Their other guard / forward, Darian Sebron's also 6'7". So those guys, they can drive, they can finish, they can shoot. But, obviously we have a little bit of the height advantage when you look at it. And then to close out their starters, Terquavian Smith, who's a freshman, 6'4" guard, and Casey Morsell, who's a junior, 6'3" guard. He's actually transferred from Virginia to NC State. That's their main, starting five. They've started majority of the ACC games, and, they score a pretty good clip. And their main guy, Cam Hayes, is a 6'3" sophomore guard that comes off the bench, and he can score as well. He looks like really they're just main contributor. So really, when you look at it, this team, I think that they can score, but I think, like to your point, their defense is really, really bad. When you look at Ken Pom's, their defensive rating, I mean, we're at 224.
Right. And they're worse than us.
227, right? Yeah. So, again, I don't think it's going to be a situation of us, obviously we got to be good, safe with the ball, but I think this is a very, very reasonable team that we can, rebound with or out-rebound. And, I think that if we can just limit the turnovers, I think that they're going to probably get some pressure on us, which, is just going to lead to turnovers, but could lead to easy baskets as well. So really it's going to come down to how we can defend them because they do have a good offense. They can score in multiple ways. Looking at, a couple of their past, box scores, their main guys, looks like Jericho Helms, Terquavian Smith, and then Darian Sebron are basically, I think, the main guys that we need to worry about as far as scoring. If we get the big guy in foul trouble, they got some guys that come off the bench, but really, I mean, they're better than us with bench points, but they're not that much far off.
And we're getting better though with the bench point stuff. I mean, for a while we were averaging, I think we're at 2 points, averaging 2 points off the bench again. Yeah,
we are getting better. And Saturday, NC State, they lost by 20 to North Carolina. And it was a pretty tough game. Hopefully they can react off of this game like we did after we got beat up by Pittsburgh going into Duke going into Pittsburgh. But a couple points of this, they lost 100-80 to North Carolina on Saturday. But with that, Terquavian Smith went 10-21 and had 11-13 hit free throws for 34 points. And Jericho Helms went 9-17, 5-9 from 3-point line for 25 points. So between Helms and Smith on Saturday, they had 59 points. So those really are the guys, minus, obviously Darian Sebron. He's lengthy and he can make some plays down low too. So those are the guys to look out for. I know that this is the first time a couple of these guys are going to be playing meaningful minutes against the zone. So really, it's just going to come down to how we handle their pressure and how many turnovers that we have, and then how are they going to shoot? Because this is a team that can come out and they can get hot like we can, and kind of take over the games. You know, in the 3 wins that they did have in the ACC, 2 of them were away at Virginia Tech, at Louisville. Virginia Tech they beat by 5.
We all know Louisville's struggles too.
When Louisville struggles, but they went at Louisville and beat them by 16. And then they had a home game against Virginia, their last win, and they won by 14. So again, you could tell in those type of games, you know, that their offense was clicking and they weren't missing shots. So, you know, that's just really what it is. But those are teams that struggle on offense. We're not a team that struggles on offense. So every game like that's been in the ACC, they're high scoring, and you know, let's see what happens. But it's really just stopping those guys, 3-point shooters, those kind of things like that.
Yeah, and I mean, you know, they're like I said, they're shooting right at the average of what we allow. So you got to figure at home they could do a little bit better, but I'm done acting like I know what the hell is going to happen in these games. Because
you never know. But
I know, but I'm serious.
But now we never know.
Yeah, right.
We really don't.
Yeah,
know, right?
I mean, it's so much. You know, coming out of the football season, like did really good with the football season once we got acclimated to the team because they stayed pretty consistent. I mean, they were, you know, consistently not great, but still, it was easier to gauge, right? We were kind of right there with it. This basketball team is like freaking killing me. It's like I said last night on Twitter, I feel like I'm in the upside down. It's like the opposite world. And so it's tough. But what you're around a lot of NC State fans. I know you know a lot of NC State fans, and I imagine you talked to them about this game coming up. How do they feel knowing that Syracuse is going to be playing on their home turf?
I honestly,
because this game could be a cardiac Cuse game. Easily.
I think it's going to be.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be. I mean, they have the athletes, and the way that Keats usually plays, there is pressure, and you know they run and gun, they take a lot of shots, and so I mean, again, if we play really, really good, we're on our game, and they're not shooting, then it could be ugly for them. They have shown that they can win and lose at home. It really doesn't matter where they play.
Right, and they can score or they can get trounced.
Right. So they're about as. I mean, they're probably right.
It's
in
like
the same boat with us.
Like,
and I'm
it's
not
mirrored.
going to lie to you. Like in the past, since I moved down here, there's been times when, like you said, with Dennis Smith Jr. and with some of the NC State was going to the tournament. So, you know, the noise for NC State basketball was a lot louder back then, and I think these past couple years they've been going down. I think that Keats was a little bit successful there with their last coach's guys, and I think that he's starting to go downhill. I mean, they're 10-12, they're 14th in the ACC, and to be perfectly honest with you, I couldn't tell you what an NC State fan thinks about this game because I haven't heard an NC State fan talk about basketball this year. So that kind of tells me where they are, right? So they are in a situation probably, I mean, the one NC State fan I used to listen to, I mean, I don't even think, and then his life has gotten a lot hectic. He's got married and a whole bunch of stuff's going on.
You were with one last night, right?
Yeah, but he's never really paid attention to basketball.
He's a football guy.
Yeah. But yeah, that's just, again, the chatter about their basketball team has gone lower and lower and lower. And it just, you know, seems to me like now that it's not really, you know, anywhere near, you know, they lost to Duke by 15, lost North Carolina by 20.
They lost to the Richmond Spiders. And I don't know what the Richmond Spiders are doing these days, but they lost by 9.
I mean, they lost to Wright State. It'd probably be a worse one to throw out there than Richmond. Richmond's at least an A-10 team. But
better than losing to Left State, for real.
Well, I don't think we can actually exactly, but we can't really talk about losing to anybody because we lost to Colgate. And this team beat Colgate by 3.
Is there a Left State, Joe? It was a joke.
I know there was a joke. Sometimes I just stroll through.
Yeah, can you not? Can you humor me once in a while? Throw me a bone.
Sorry, man. I just don't want you to think you're funny.
Oh my god!
I don't need you to get that overconfidence. I need you to stay even.
I know.
Keel.
I try to keep this show fresh. You know, it's not easy with Joe. Joe's different, by the way. He's a lot more fun off air than he is on the air. He's very stiff on the air. He doesn't like to play. And he can get very cheesy off air. But when I'm cheesy on air, he just ignores it. Like, it's such a bullshit.
All business, man.
All business.
All business.
All right. Well, with that said, look, I'm going to take the last game. I was within 6 points. And obviously neither one of us chose the winner. Your cumulative points were a little low.
Yeah, a little bit.
19. You were off by 19. I was off by 6. So that will
good for you.
Yes, that is it.
Oh, good.
Yes,
for
thank you. That will put this whole series for basketball between you and I. You're at 5-4-1, and I'm at 4-5-1. Okay. So with that said, Joe, I predicted last game, and let's try to do better. Let's be better at this. Okay? Can we please?
What?
It would be better.
I would be working for Vegas at the sports book if this was my job.
Hey, I remember nailing a football score. Exact. With the win and everything. I nailed it.
Broken clocks right twice a day.
Well, you haven't been right once then. Okay?
Hey.
So, and I know basketball is tougher. But look, I'm not giving up my methods. But I will say that looking at the box scores and just everything to do with NC State, to your point, I have no clue where to go with this game because these are the two most inconsistent, volatile teams in the ACC, in my opinion. They're almost a mirrored image of one another. So, with that said, Joe, what do you got?
Oh, yeah. My turn?
You go first this time, yes.
Oh, man. So, I do believe that I think we're going to get this game. I think that they're going to struggle with a maybe more active than normal 2-3 zone. And, I hopefully we start this streak that, I don't know, because every single time we get something good happens, it's like, okay, are we going to start this run? And then we never do. So, but for good old sakes, I'm going to say Syracuse wins 81-76.
Oh my gosh. We are so close. Okay, so I got Cuse too, and I just feel like this is the orange-blooded homer in me, and doing what I said I wouldn't do. And that is take what I saw against Wake Forest and assume that we're going to see something similar. And I'm sorry. I'm not going to jump on that train 100%, but for this game, I already said it. I feel like this is a good place to go after that win. If you're going to go on the road, I feel like this is a good place to be. So, with that said, you got 81-76 Cuse, Joe. I'm going 82-78 Cuse. So, and I already had mine written down, which I always do, because I know it's close. But we're right there with one another. So, I do think it's going to be close. I think it's going to be a cardiac Cuse game. I think it might be even a situation where Syracuse could rally back in the second half. And, the first halves were telling at one point, if Syracuse had a good first half, they would normally have a crappy second. But the game against Wake Forest last night, there's a lot of scoring in that first half. And I think Syracuse was lucky to be there where they were. The shots were falling. And that's not something that we've seen on a consistent basis lately. We know they can shoot, but lately they've struggled to just get it in the hole. So,
yeah, well, hey, look. Again, last night it gave me a little bit of extra. I was pretty much ready to throw this season in the garbage, especially obviously that pit and expecting what happened. But look, I mean, next 6 games, minus the Louisville game that we have at home February 5th, which we know Louisville's kind of in shambles. Their
coach is gone, right?
Yes, but when you look at it, I think we're like 9th in the ACC, right? And then Louisville's 8th. They're right above us. But out of our next 6 games, 5 of those 6 games are against the bottom 5 teams.
The
in the
Wolfpack's
ACC, right?
14th in the ACC.
Oh, yeah, the Wolfpack's 14, but I'm just saying going
you're talking about Louisville.
like NC State's 14th, Louisville's 8th, right?
Okay, I
But
gotcha.
Then you get
I'm
to
sorry, I
Boston
misunderstood
College, right? Boston College is 11th, Virginia Tech's 13th, NC State's 14th, Georgia Tech's 15th. Like, next 5 out of 6 games are against the low teams in this conference. And coming off of this Wake Forest game, you have to take this confidence. This is like you said, it's an effort, but it's a sense of urgency. You need this. You have a situation where you can just plug off a whole bunch of wins, have a streak, and actually turn this thing around. Have people thinking a little bit differently about your team. I mean, now is the time. If you don't do it now, if you don't do it on Wednesday, then I don't think that button's turning back on.
Yeah, no, without a doubt. And also, we had a buy-seller hold, too, that I liked just for fun. Did I not screenshot that? And to your point earlier, Joe, like you said, what was it? I just had it in my head. Basically, kind of. We reversed. So when we looked at this stretch of 8 games, we were saying, okay, dudes and dudettes, we need to go 6-2. All right. Well, we're still on track for that because we just swapped a what we thought was going to be a win against Pitt and a loss against Wake Forest. We just swapped those 2 games.
Yeah.
So nothing has changed there. So going forward, obviously we've got to keep pushing ahead, but I wanted to reiterate that point.
Yeah, and that's what we said. I was just saying the last 10 games of the season, and then what you do in the ACC tournament, like that stretch, when it comes to bubble teams and everything, that's what they look at. If you're getting better, and you've won more recently, and you have a better record, and you do better in your conference tournament, then that's what they look at. And starting with that Wake Forest win, that's a great win. Now you got 6 games in a row that are very, very winnable, no matter if they're home or away. And, if you can jump on that, we already know what our last 4 are with Notre Dame, Duke, North Carolina, and Miami. You got quad 1 games all around the last 4 games. So, we get the next 6 games to get back into talking about maybe being on the bubble and getting to 16 and 11. And then at that point, you have the 4 games, and then you have the 4 quad 1 games in the ACC tournament. So that's an open season. That's a beginning of a new season and a chance to actually make something happen. But again, I am not confident that we're going to go out and just ring these next 6 off. We can do it. We have the talent to do it, but is it going to happen? Everything that's told us up to this point in the season is no. You'd be crazy to think that it's going to happen, but wishful thinking.
Yeah, well, here's a wishful thinking buy, sell, or hold from top fan Michael on Facebook. Real quick, I meant to add this in. Now, this is far-fetched, and we know it. But with the struggles that Syracuse has had, he says buy, sell, or hold, win out the regular season, and we are in the tournament, regardless of what happens in the ACC tournament.
Yeah, that's a buy.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay.
You have 10 games.
But that's not going to happen. So here's my hope.
If we go from 10 and 11 to 20 and 11, yes, we would.
Absolutely. And we were talking, I think we could do this with probably 17, 18 wins. Depending on the wins, but with that said, around there, because we shoot for 20. I mean, that's where we like to be, right?
It's where we traditionally shoot, but like I said, strength of schedule has a lot to do with that.
Yes, and our strength of schedule is
pretty good,
really good. Yeah, the battle for Atlantis really bumped that into the next bracket. So and we'll talk about. I can't wait. I really can't wait for the ACC tournament because that's a good place for Syracuse to get in, see what they can do. 8th in the ACC or 9th in the ACC right now. See what they can do to bump their stock up a little bit there, and see where we can get it seeded in the ACC tournament because Duke, Miami, okay, Wake Forest, okay, even whatever. Everybody else is. I mean, some of these teams have lost to. I mean, UNC is one of them. Like I've seen them lose to teams. I'm just like, what is going on? So you just never know. I think that this could be a fun ACC tournament, I guess. So, but we gotta seed right for that too. So, with that said, we'll see. It'll be fun though. I think it'll be fun.
So looking at I just looked it up real quick, just whatever. But just on a random, just looking up at college basketball, strength of schedule or everything like that. It seems to me like we have a situation where I think we're a top 20 strength of schedule, something like that. Okay. 25, 25th.
Right.
On ESPN, we're 25th. So, I mean, you have a top 25 strength of schedule. That bodes out pretty well for you. But again, these next 6 are your chance to start getting the wins, start getting people to start thinking about you. And then you got at Notre Dame, home against Duke, at North Carolina, and home against Miami, which probably are all going to be quad 1 games.
Yeah.
And now you get a chance to impress, get a couple good wins before, you go into the ACC tournament and figure it out. So
Virginia Tech's another streaky one that's kind of dangerous too.
Yep. Yeah,
So.
Don't get me wrong. These teams could beat us, but
we could beat them, right? I mean, that's my point. I guess that's my point when it comes to the ACC tournament. That's how I feel.
And that's what I mean when I look at it like these. Think about our fans and how we. Our team sucks. SU sucks. We're 9th out of 15 teams. It's like there's still 6 teams worse than us. And really, I mean, I don't know if Louisville's better than us, and we'll find out here soon. So
I'm not real sure about that myself.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just saying, we're so bad. Well, 5 out of our next 6 games are teams that are worse than us record-wise.
We're just so bad compared to our expectations and where we usually are. That's why we're so bad. It's a consistently good team for 45 years. And here we are, year 46. And
again, right. And that's the thing is, I guess this is the whole thing of consistency, right? Because in years past, we don't lose that Pittsburgh game. We don't lose the Colgate game. That would put us at 12-9 instead, right? I mean, at Georgetown by 4 was a completely winnable game. Some of these other games really close. You don't usually lose that many close games when it comes down to a 1 possession at the end. And then
the Miami game was a tough one to take.
I mean, even if we were 12-9 right now, it would completely change. You'd pick up that Pittsburgh and that Colgate game, and they're not huge. It's not going to help your resume, but 12-9 going into this next stretch of 6, I mean, it's a huge difference. So again, a game here, a game there. I mean, and we could have easily been in a way, way better situation. So again, they got to do what they got to do. They got to dig themselves out, and we got 6 games that are soft enough for us to use the shovel.
Yeah, absolutely. Easy digging. All right. That is going to do it for us. Like I said, we are going to try to get here Saturday. We will see what happens. But regardless, we'll get back. If we don't get back in time for the NC State post-game show, we'll hit on it the next time we do come back. And we'll keep you posted via social media. So we appreciate all of you for hanging out with us. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. For Joe, I'm Sean. We're out.
Peace.